So your heart is pounding. You are staring at a street sign. You can't even, begin to read. You have like 3 minutes to catch your train, and your brain has completely deleted the English language.
Oh yeah, just a total blank.
Exactly. All that is left in your vocabulary is one desperate word, which is just station.
It is the ultimate travel nightmare, right? The stress spikes, and you just completely freeze up.
You do, and because you are panicked, you usually just grab the nearest stranger, point frantically down the street, and blurt out, where station, which, let's be honest, feels incredibly awkward.
It does feel awkward,
Yeah.
but honestly, it is also completely understandable. And today, our mission is to fix that exact moment.
Oh, thank goodness.
Yeah, we are not going to ask you to memorize an entire dictionary or anything like that. Instead, we're giving you 3 strategic frameworks so you can ask for directions without the panic.
Okay, I love frameworks. So let's unpack that first instinct. Is pointing and grunting, where's station, is that really a catastrophic mistake? Like, are locals secretly laughing at you?
No, not at all.
Yeah.
Locals generally just want to help,
Yeah.
And they will probably figure out what you mean anyway.
Right, they get the gist.
Exactly. The real problem is that it strips you of your confidence. So let's upgrade that first interaction.
Okay, I am ready.
Instead of just where station, your anchor phrase is this. How do I get to the station?
How do I get to the station? Oh, wait, I see. It is basically conversational Mad Libs, right?
Yes, exactly that.
You just memorize the front half and then swap out the noun at the end, depending on what you actually need.
Precisely. It drastically reduces your cognitive load. You do not have to build a whole new sentence every time you are lost.
Which is a huge relief.
Right. So if you're looking for a museum, you just say, how do I get to the museum?
Right.
Or if you need a ride, how do I get to the bus stop? The structure does all the heavy lifting for you.
Okay, the Mad Libs approach gets the conversation started perfectly.
Yeah.
But here's the real hurdle for me. I ask this beautiful question, and the local responds with just a barrage of rapid-fire English.
Oh, the dreaded fast talker.
Yes. Like, yeah, mate, go down here, take a quick left past the pub. How do I process that without my brain completely short-circuiting?
Well, it helps to understand what happens to your brain under stress. When you are panicked, your auditory processing actually narrows.
Wait, really? It actually physically narrows?
It does. You literally cannot process a flood of fast words. So you have to train your brain to filter out the noise and only listen for decoder words.
Decoder words. Okay, what are those?
Specifically, verbs of motion. You just want to listen for phrases like go straight, turn left, turn right.
So I just ignore all the speed and the slang and only listen for the physical movement. Go straight, turn left. Got it.
Exactly, just focus on the movement.
But, okay, directions are completely useless if the place is like 5 miles away. How do we figure out if we should start walking or if we need to call a cab?
Well, instead of asking how many miles or kilometers, which forces the stranger to give you a complex measurement that you then have to translate in your head, you use your second framework.
Which is?
Is it far from here?
Ah, that is incredibly clever. Because, asking, is it far from here, forces them into a simple yes or no.
Exactly. It forces a binary answer.
Yeah.
Or, at most, a really simple time estimate.
Or like, no, it is about 5 minutes away.
Right. It's infinitely easier for a beginner to decode on the spot.
Brilliant. But let's go back to my absolute worst case scenario. What if they mumble or a siren goes by and I just completely miss the decoder words in the time estimate?
That is where your safety net comes in.
Oh, I definitely need a safety net.
We all do. Your third phrase is simply, could you say that again, please?
See, I always worry about this. Isn't it super annoying to stop a stranger on the street and then immediately ask them to repeat themselves?
No, it is entirely normal, really.
Sure.
It shows the local that you are actively engaged in trying to respect their directions.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, and it buys your brain a crucial second chance to catch those verbs of motion.
All right, I think we need to test this in the wild. Let's do a quick role play just to be sure.
Sounds good.
Okay, I'm going to be the lost traveler and you be the local who is walking just a bit too fast.
I am ready whenever you are.
Okay, here goes. Excuse me, how do I get to the station?
Oh yeah, just head straight down a couple blocks and take a quick left at the corner.
Whoa. Could you say that again, please?
Oh sure. Go straight for 2 blocks, then turn left at the corner.
Is it far from here?
No, it is about a 5-minute walk.
Great, thank you.
See? You control the pace, you got the distance, and you got the exact physical directions without getting totally overwhelmed.
I genuinely feel less stressed just practicing it right now. So to lock this in for everyone, your 3 anchors are, how do I get to the station? Then, is it far from here? And the safety net. Could you say that again, please?
Spot on. And if this quick guide to travel English helped you feel a bit more confident, make sure to subscribe. Because next time, we are tackling how to check into a hotel without sounding completely stressed out.
Which is crucial because nobody wants to accidentally sleep in the lobby. I know I don't.
Definitely not.
But until then, the next time you step out onto a foreign street, remember that locals do not expect you to be a poet. They just want to help. The real language barrier is rarely a lack of vocabulary. It is usually just the fear of using the words you already have.